Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the DMD Den, and this is DMDrayden coming to you guys with another exciting video. So today, guys, I'm going to be bringing you guys something that I've actually been wanting to talk about on the channel for a little while now. I'm going to be doing a buying guide on one of my personal favorite systems of all time, which is the PS4. Now, in this guide, I'm going to be going over everything from the hardware to day one accessories that I think you guys and so that should get, to a list of a couple of games and so that I would recommend to anybody who is starting out on the PS4 for the first time. So let's get into it. So, for those of you guys who have been keeping up with my channel and know me, I'm a huge PlayStation enthusiast. I love PlayStation. I have PlayStations 1 through 4, and right now inside that, my PS4 is what I pretty much primarily game on, and that's out of all of my consoles, and that is to say I have a lot of consoles. Now, when it comes to day one pickups, though, you know, there are people inside who will definitely go out there and they'll buy inside, you know, the PS4 Pro because it's the latest version of it, it's the best up-to-date version. But at the same time, though, I do know that a lot of people inside that, you know, are also on a budget and they can't afford the next latest and greatest thing. But have no fear, there are plenty of, you know, other versions inside that are a lot cheaper that will still give you the same quality gaming. So first off, we're going to talk about the first system. Now, the first system was the basic model that was released. It was bundled with, I believe, Uncharted, The Last of Us, you know, just games like that. And it's pretty much the cheapest one that you'll be able to find, you know, at this time. You can usually pick it up for about $100, maybe $150 depending on who you're buying it from. So you should definitely inside that, you know, consider that. It does come with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, which me personally, I've always felt was never enough. The PS4 has got a very extensive library of games, and honestly, I think 500 gigabytes just is not going to cut it. But sadly, inside that, the basic model does not come with, you know, a bigger hard drive to it than that. So, you know, it is what it is. But if you are looking for a PS4 to play games and you're on a budget, it's definitely the version so that, you know, you should definitely probably go with. Now, after that one, though, they did end up releasing a PS4 Slim. Now, the PS4 Slim is a little bit thinner, a little bit sleeker. It did come with a 1 terabyte hard drive, so they definitely did upgrade that, which is fantastic, because like I said, the PS4's library is very extensive, and 500 gigabytes to me just doesn't cut it, so you guys may want to opt for that. Now, it is going to be a little bit more expensive, though, because obviously you are paying instead of that for the better hard drive. I think in terms of performance, they pretty much perform about the same, so you're not really getting an upgrade on that. But it is a little bit nicer. It's not as thick, it's not as bulky, and it doesn't take up as much space. So that's actually the one I would actually probably recommend to you guys instead of more than the basic model. Like I said, I wasn't really a big fan of the basic model, but if you are on a budget and that's all you can afford, it's still a great option, guys. And then, of course, is that we also have the brand new PS4 Pro, or I don't want to say brand new because it has been out for a little while as of the making of this video. But it is the newest model and everything that is out. Now, as such, you know, the PS4 Pro, the Slim, the basic model, they all came in special editions as well. So there's definitely a lot of options that you can go if you would like to, you know, get something a little bit more stand-out-ish and things like that. So that's definitely an option. The PS4 Pro inside it is an absolutely beautiful console, though. It does upscale to 4K, and so it does have that 4K support, you know, if you are gaming on a 4K television, or if you're gaming on a 4K PC monitor. I know that there are people inside who do both. Currently, right now, I'm on a PC monitor, so, you know, that's just the way it plays. But it is the most expensive version out there. It has come in a multitude of different, you know, special edition versions. Just to let you guys know that God of War is coming out on April 20th, and there will be a God of War PS4 Pro edition that is coming out. So if you guys inside that are a big fan of God of War, or if you guys inside don't have a PS4 Pro yet, that may not be a bad edition inside to start out on. Of course, it is going to be a little pricey, but it will, of course, come with a copy of God of War, which is one of the most anticipated games coming out this year. So I would definitely look into it. But that's pretty much about all I can say inside that about the system itself. In reality, instead, like I said, you do have options on which version that you go with, but, you know, it kind of is what it is. So moving right along, and so that I'm going to talk to you guys about some accessories that I think you guys should definitely pick up day one, if you're thinking instead about getting a PS4 in general. So the first thing I recommend to you guys, and this is only because of the fact that they have a lot of games, is a hard drive, and by that I mean an external hard drive. So the reason why I recommend an external hard drive is because of the fact that the PS4 does have the support to format an external hard drive in order to increase the storage. Now right now I'm working with a Passport 2 terabyte hard drive, which you know, it's great because, like I said, I can download a majority of my library onto here and onto the internal, and not have to, you know, continuously delete and re-download games and stuff like that if and when I want to play them. So this is definitely a must. Now, if you guys can opt for a bigger hard drive, like a 4 terabyte, I would recommend it. I mean, I have almost over 100 games in my library right now, and I can easily say that the 2 terabyte was not enough. I have 3 terabytes on my system total, and I've literally filled it all up for the most part. So I still do have to do some, you know, deleting inside and re-downloading at times, but not as often though, because of the fact that I have the extra space. So this is definitely a very important day one accessory that I do recommend for you guys. So I would definitely look into it if you're thinking about getting a PS4 or just any PS4. The external hard drive support does work for any model PS4. So if you did want to get, like, say the beginner model that was only 500 gigs, but you did want to extend it to, say, you know, 2 or 3 gigs, then you do have the option to be able to do that. So, you know, never fear, guys. It's pretty much universal throughout all of them. Another accessory that I'm not really going to recommend, but that you could get if you guys wanted to, is also the PlayStation VR. Now, me personally, I don't have the PlayStation VR because of the fact that I do like the concept of it, but at the same time, I don't know. I think it's still a little pricey and so that for what it is. I never really had the PlayStation Move back, like when it came out on PS3 and things of that sort. So I can't really say whether or not it's good or bad, or if it's even worth the pickup. I personally haven't gotten it because right now I still think that, you know, VR is a little premature. I think it's still too kind of testy and so that to be able to be like, yes, I want to spend all this money on it. But that's just my personal opinion. I've heard mixed reviews about it. Some people have said that it's great. Some people have said that it's, yeah, they think that they kind of need to wait on it, you know, let the hype die down a little bit. But that's, I don't know, like with that, guys, you can kind of take that or leave that. You know, I've kind of left that for right now because there are other things and so that I invest my money into. But like I said, everybody is different, but it is an option out there if you guys do want to, you know, kind of change up and so that the sort of gameplay that you do. So moving right along, the other accessory that I recommend for everybody, now you will get one of these defaultly, but I recommend picking up a secondary controller. Now, the controllers inside that for the PS4 are fantastic. They are the DualShock. They feel really good in the hands, or at least they feel good to me. And I absolutely love these. But what I would recommend instead of for everybody is go ahead and pick up a second one. Now, obviously, we all know the controllers and so that can be a little pricey at times. These inside that will pretty much cost you about what it costs for a brand new video game. So you're going to be probably spending about $60 on it, maybe $65 if you consider tax. Now, the reason why I recommend these is because, I don't know about you guys, like, I don't play a whole lot, like, couch co-op, but it is nice inside to be able to have another controller, say, if a friend of mine comes over, or, you know, just things like that. But the other thing that's good about it is the fact that you can, you know, have one controller, play on it, but then if it dies, you can have a second controller to be able to continue your gameplay. Now, there are also accessories out there, like charging docks and things like that, that you guys can get for your controllers if you so choose. Now these instead of charge instead of off of a micro USB, so it's not like inside you can't just, you know, plug them in and keep them charging while you guys are doing gameplay. But if you guys don't want to mess with the wires or anything like that, it's not a bad idea to have a secondary controller because, like I said, you know, you can play with one and then you can plug the other one in and then, you know, you can just basically keep swapping them out, so that way your gameplay never has to end. It's an option so that if you guys want to do it, but it is not necessary, so you don't have to feel like you have to. So another accessory that I definitely recommend if you guys are going to be playing online or anything like that, is a good style headset. That's right, guys. I don't play a whole lot of online play, but I do sometimes do play co-op and everything with some friends of mine, so I would definitely recommend that you guys get a headset. The best thing about this is the fact that you don't have to get like a super expensive headset. You really don't. You can actually just get just a normal headset, you know, just like this. I mean, it's nothing special. It's a cheap little pair of skull candies inside that, but they are perfectly fine for chatting on the PS4. You don't have to have a special headset with a microphone or anything like that. You just need a run-of-the-mill headset to be able to chat with people. Now, if you do want to go with the better sound quality, then obviously you can opt a little bit more to buy a more expensive headset, or if you're looking for comfort or things like that. But I'm not saying that you have to, though. It is actually not necessary. So as long as you have just a headset that you can plug in, and you do plug that into the bottom jack right here, if you guys can see inside on the video. It's not, I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. You know, you just plug it in, you know, put it on, go into your settings, adjust, you know, your audio inside that to make sure that it's on chat audio, and then you can basically talk to whoever you're playing with. And that about wraps it up for the accessories, guys. Now, there, of course, are other accessories that you can get. You can get the charging docks, like I said. But like I said, those actually aren't necessary if you don't want them. I mean, it's like I said, it's completely up to y'all. These are just suggestions for you guys. If you do have more than 2 controllers, you might want to opt for a charging dock, but to be honest, I can't think of why people would have more than 2 unless, you know, they have, like, you know, big gaming group sessions, which that is always possible. I mean, you really don't ever know, and so that, you know, like, what people do in their spare time. The other thing inside that I might recommend to you guys inside that is also a flash drive. Now, I know you guys are probably going to be wondering, why a flash drive? Well, there are times inside that when you're going to be making videos on your PS4, or you want to make backups inside that of your save files or things like that, and formatting a USB drive to be able to do that is actually one of the easiest ways. Now, you guys are probably going to be like, well, you know, I have the 2TB hard drive. Well, the hard drive should really be used inside that for space, and it's not very good to file transfer. So that's why I recommend inside that you guys do get a flash drive. I'm using a 16 gig flash drive right now, which is plenty. It does the job inside that exactly the way I need it to. And I just like being, you know, safer than sorry, because, you know, there are times when you're going to go over there, maybe there's a lightning storm or something like that, and your PS4 goes out, and, you know, some of your files are damaged, and it's just like, you know, God, I wish I had a backup. You never know what can happen, guys, so I'm just saying it might be worth your time. You know, it might be something to think about. And that's pretty much about all. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about all for the accessories. There's also a PlayStation camera, too, if you guys instead want it. But, I mean, to be honest, unless you plan on seeing, like, you want to see your face instead of that on camera, like if you're broadcasting or streaming, it's not necessary. Personally, I think it's a waste. So moving right along, we're going to go to the best topic of this video, which is going to be the games. Now, I talk games all the time, so that you guys have probably seen on my videos, and I definitely rave and stuff that with a lot of my PlayStation titles as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go through a quick list of some games inside that I recommend for day one pickup, or if, you know, you guys inside that have a PS4 or just got one, but you kind of don't know which games inside that are worth investing money into. Well, I'm just going to give you guys as short of a list as I can. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be naming all of them because I could go on for days just giving you guys a bunch of games, you know, like that I recommend that you guys should play. But I am going to go over a short little list of some games inside that I think that you guys should definitely try out. Now, one of the games that I recommend for every PS4 owner, especially if you did not play it on PS3, is The Last of Us. Guys, if you are a PS4 owner and you have not played this game yet, you have not really truly enjoyed your PlayStation. This much I can promise you. Now, this game inside that was made by Naughty Dog. This game is super fantastic, guys. There are very few times inside that I would ever rate a game 10 out of 10, but this game was easily an 11 out of 10. Everything about this game was perfect. Everything from the storyline to the character development, the soundtrack, the gameplay difficulty. It does have an extreme mode on here, which is actually extremely challenging for those of you guys inside who do love, you know, like going above and beyond for a challenge. And the best part about this game, guys, if you guys have not heard, this game is getting a second one. That's right, we are getting The Last of Us 2. We are getting another game in this series, guys, and I'm not going to lie, that game has got a huge standard inside that it needs to meet, because this, as you can see, 200 Game of the Year awards. This has got to be one of the all-time best games on PS4. So if you guys instead are thinking about picking up a PS4 and don't know what game you should start out with, this one, guys. This is the game that you guys need to play first. I wish I had a collector's edition of this, because this game is absolutely incredible. I could keep going on and on and stuff about this game, but you know, we do have some others to get to. But seriously, guys, pick this up. If you guys instead are starting the PS4 or do not know what to play next, play this if you haven't. I guarantee you it will be worth your time. I've easily played through this thing almost a dozen times already, just because of the fact that I love it so much. And it is also a PS4 exclusive, guys. That is the best part about it, is the fact that if you're an Xbox player and you're thinking about going to PS4, that's one of the reasons why you should. So another game I'm going to talk about is also another PS4 exclusive. Now, this is actually the best thing about the PS4, or PlayStation in general, is the fact that they have got so many exclusive titles that are actually really good. And I mean extremely good. So the other one I'm going to recommend is a game called Bloodborne. Now, Bloodborne was another one of the games that came out early in the PS4's life, and it is also a PS4 exclusive. It is made and so that and everything by Japan Studio, I believe. This game was actually really nice. If you guys are a huge fan of games like the Dark Souls series, or games along those lines that have similar combat styles or anything like that, then this is definitely a game I recommend to you guys. This game, from what I can tell, was actually developed by the studio inside that who did make the Dark Souls games. It does play in a very similar style. You are going around, you are hunting monsters, you are taking on big colossal bosses that more than likely are probably going to kill you instead of instantly if you're not prepared. You know, needless to say, this game does have a pretty good difficulty curve, though. I don't think this game was nearly as hard as the other Souls games, which is kind of a turnoff for some people, but, you know, at the same time for other people, it's like, oh, well, you know, it's actually kind of refreshing. So you guys can kind of take that or leave it and so that as you will. But this game is definitely another one that I recommend. Again, it is a PS4 exclusive, so you cannot play this on Xbox. So if you guys are, you know, like I said again, thinking about getting a PS4, even if you have an Xbox, if you have an Xbox and you're thinking about still getting a PS4, but you don't want to, you know, move all your games from one system to another, make sure that you guys go for the exclusives. I'm telling you, the exclusives are fantastic, and you will not regret them. So those are some PS4 exclusives that I recommend. Now, my list is going to go a little bit more genre-based now. Those were just some day ones and so that I definitely recommended. So, you guys and so that don't know this, but I'm actually a huge fighting game fan as well. If you guys did see my Ultimate Game Room setup, I did include in that video a little take on my fight stick, my Panthera Razor. So I did get that fight stick because of the fact that I'm a huge fighting game fan. So I am going to give you guys a couple of fighting games as well that I think you guys should definitely pick up. The first one is the Mortal Kombat XL edition. Now, I do recommend this edition over the normal one because of the fact that this one comes with all of the DLC characters. And trust me, guys, the DLC characters on this game you do not want to miss because they were actually really good. Now, I've played Mortal Kombat for God, ever since I can remember, and so that I did play, you know, a lot of it back on the PS2. I played them in the arcades, you know, things like that. And the Mortal Kombat series has only gotten better, and so that since then, especially since it started becoming a real mainstream game on the console. Now, this is considered one of the more slower-paced fighting games. It might be for you, it might not. I do hear that some people like it, some people don't. But it's definitely one that I recommend, you know, if you guys don't know, like, what kind of fighting games are actually good on the PS4 and aren't. This one actually did do a very good job. And again, get the XL edition if you guys do want all of the DLC. Because if you get the normal X version, you are going to have to pay for the DLC. And it's probably better not to, since this game is actually not that expensive right now. It is just an option. So another one inside that is a game that actually just came out recently this year, which is Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Now, if you guys inside that are a huge fan of the Dragon Ball Z series, or if you guys have kept up with Super or anything like that, this is another game inside that I highly recommend to you guys. The game is not that hard, but it was an absolutely fresh take on the Dragon Ball Z fighting series in general, because of the fact that, I mean, it had a pretty decent story. The gameplay inside that, like the controls and everything else, were actually pretty fluid. And I'm not gonna lie, I was going to be playing this with a fight stick, but I actually did play this with a controller and didn't really feel like I needed a fight stick for it. Now, usually I play a fight stick for all of my games, just because of the fact that I feel like it plays smoother inside that than a controller does. But with this game inside that, I just kind of popped it in and went with it and didn't even bother, you know, hooking my fight stick up. Now, not to say the gameplay probably wouldn't have been better with the fight stick, but I didn't exactly need it, though. Yeah, if you guys are a big Dragon Ball Z fan and stuff like that, or if you're a fighting game fan in general, this is definitely one I recommend. This was one of the better games that have come out at the beginning of 2018. By the way, guys, I am going to be doing a video inside that on some of the most anticipated games and what I'm looking forward to the most in 2018 when it comes to games. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that, because that will probably be tomorrow's video. Just giving you guys a heads up. And then the last game in the fighting game series is one that I've also kept up with for a while, which is Injustice. Now, if you guys instead don't know anything about the Injustice series, this is actually, I'm showing you guys the second game in the Injustice series right now. You guys see that? Yeah. The Injustice series, I think, was actually very well done. It's basically a game with all of the DC heroes. You know, DC inside that, you know, doesn't get a whole lot of love these days, and so that, especially with, you know, like the DC movies and everything not being as great. But the DC fighting games Injustice series was actually extremely good. Had a great story, a great cast of characters, and they just came out with the Injustice Gold version of this, which will end up coming with all of the DLC characters. And I'm not gonna lie, the DLC characters were a real knockout. It did come with Starfire, and Starfire, she's lit. Like, she was actually my favorite character out of them all. But that pretty much wraps it up for the fighting games. Obviously, there are a lot more, but, you know, I'm just picking, you know, a couple of them inside that I would recommend, because I think that they were really, really well done and that they're really cool. So moving right along to the RPGs, which obviously, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan. Now, I am going to say that Persona 5 I'm also going to include on this list, but I'm not going to show it because you guys already know and so that how much I love Persona 5. I've shown you guys, you know, constant, you know, I did an unboxing video for you guys, just literally raving about it, telling you guys how great it is. So I'm already going to include Persona 5 in this list too. So if you guys have not seen that video of me doing my unboxing, make sure to go and check out the link down in the description below. I will leave a link to that video. But for some of the ones that I haven't talked about, the first one we have is one that's actually pretty well known. It is The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. This, oh god, this game, guys, if you are looking for a massive, huge open world adventure, this is definitely the game for you guys. This, oh god, what can I say about this game? The story of it is fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I actually have not finished the story yet, because this is a very long game. There's plenty to do in this. This was made by WB Games as well. WB Games is known and so that for doing a lot of popular games, and so that these days they're most famous for the Arkham series. They did, I believe it was Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, and the critically acclaimed newer version, which is Shadow of War. Love that game to pieces. Definitely going to be doing a review on that as well. That's another game I have a lot of time into. But they really did do an amazing job with this game, guys. There's plenty to do. If you're looking for a game that will definitely take you some time to get through, it is definitely this. You know, the character dialogue inside that is fantastic in here. Geralt is an absolutely wonderful character. He's very out there. Sometimes he can be serious, sometimes he can be sarcastic, sometimes he can be funny. Of course, with this being an RPG, you know, your choices of dialogue obviously depend on the outcome inside that of what happens. But yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about this game, but again, we do have other games to get to. So The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, guys. If you guys and so that you know, have heard of this game but didn't know, and so that if you guys should get it, you should. This game is awesome. Moving right along to another one, we also have another critically acclaimed game that was a knockout on the PS4, and I don't remember if this is a PS4 exclusive. I'm pretty sure it is, but if I'm wrong, and so that, do feel free to quote me down in the description below, or I'm sorry, in the comment section below, which is Horizon Zero Dawn. Guys, this probably was one of the games that I was looking forward to the most. I believe this came out in if it didn't come out in early 2017, it did come out in early 2016. It has been a little while and like that, so forgive me. But this game, oh god, this game was absolutely beautiful. I wanted the collector's edition of this, but of course, like most collector's editions for popular games, it sold out immediately, and I was heartbroken. So unfortunately, I did have to settle with just the normal version of the game. But it was definitely worth it, though. This game is fantastic. It's a very open world sort of, well, basically it's a wild hunt sort of a deal. The planet is basically taken over by, you know, machines that basically act like animals, and you're playing as Aloy, the main character, and so that on the top, you know, she's a hunter slash outcast. She's actually very special, and that's the reason why. I mean, honestly, this game is really good, guys. I mean, everything about this game was great. Its story is solid. Its character development is solid. Your interaction and so that with the world around you is very fluid, and there's always more to explore. There's always more to hunt. So yeah, guys, definitely pick this up. I would highly recommend this because even I mean the soundtrack in this game is actually pretty good too. Again, I really wanted the collector's edition, but I was not able to get it. It really did make me cry. But you know, I might pick it up eventually, or who knows, maybe it'll get donated to me. You never know. So the next one I'm going to talk about, and so that is one that again also just came out recently, and that is Monster Hunter World. Now I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan. I played it pretty much all the way, and so that from the original PS2. I did end up playing it on the 3DS. I do have quite a few Monster Hunter titles on the 3DS. And it finally got a reboot on the PS4, guys. Now, this is a game that I've also put quite a bit of time into. It is pretty much what you think it is, if you guys can't already tell by the title. Making sure you guys can see that. You guys do hunt monsters. You know, you hunt monsters for their parts and their materials. You use their parts and materials to make weapons, to make armor. It does have a very solid story. Obviously, the story is just like that. You're going to go out and you're going to be doing these, you know, these really, really big hunts. But again, guys, this game is fantastic. It's really, really fun to play with people too. So if you have a friend inside that who's thinking about getting this game, or if you get this game, definitely recommend it to a friend, because I've had a blast playing it with other people, especially people inside that who are closest to me. So this is definitely one of those that I would recommend. But again, try to play this in a group, because if you guys have never played a Monster Hunter game before, the difficulty curve, it's not extremely hard to get into, but at the same time, you might want to play and so that with somebody who is just a little bit more experienced with it. Or if you guys are like brand new at it, it might be easier to play as a team, because some of these monsters that you do hunt on there are extremely difficult. Another thing you can do is check out Gaijin Hunter on YouTube. He does a lot of videos and so that on all things Monster Hunter, builds, tips and tricks on how to hunt certain monsters, you know, just things like that. Big shout out to him, and so that his videos are really good. So I would definitely go, again, that's Gaijin Hunter. Check him out and so that on YouTube. He's really cool. So another series and stuff I'm going to go over is going to be, again, some more RPGs, but these are going to be more JRPGs though. So the Tales series. Now, the Tales series, to me, is one of the most acclaimed JRPG series that have ever come out on PlayStation. They've come out on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and even, yes, PlayStation 4. I do believe that there are a couple who have come out on the Vita and just things like that. But these are definitely really good, guys. And the best part about these is that these are also very cheap. I think you can get both of these instead of that for about 20 bucks. This one, Basaria is actually still brand new in the plastic. I actually haven't opened this yet because of the fact that I'm still playing through this one. But, you know, they're, for the most part inside that, and when it comes to the JRPG genre, that they are definitely pretty solid. And definitely, you know, ones that I recommend inside that for day one, if you guys inside that are looking for a JRPG. But again, guys, the one I actually recommend highly most of all is Persona 5. If you guys are looking for a starting JRPG to get into, and you literally want to play a knockout, then Persona 5 is actually the way to go. Another one I didn't include in this list, and so that was actually Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. The only reason why that's not on this list is because of the fact that I have not played it. It did get pretty decent reviews, though. I think it got like an 8.5 out of 10. But since I haven't actually played it right now, it wasn't one that I was going to include on here. But if you guys are interested, you guys can definitely do that. It is a newer game, so it may not be for day one pickup, but it is one to consider because, again, it is one of the newer RPGs out this year. And then the final game instead that on this list is one I've already recommended, which is Shadow of War. Now, I know you guys are probably going to say, well, what about Shadow of Mordor? Well, Shadow of Mordor is an excellent game as well. You guys can definitely check that one out. You guys can actually get the Game of the Year edition with all of the add-on content for pretty cheap. I think that actually goes for 20 bucks as well. So that one's actually a really nice one instead that to go if you're a day one pickup. But Shadow of War blew that out of the water. Shadow of War is basically the sequel to that game. It basically upscaled and fixed everything that its first game was missing. This is another game that I have, if I don't have already, I have almost 200 hours into. I literally picked this up day one, and I took off of work to play this game. Like, this game was so fun. The story is solid. All of the additional features that are added onto this game was absolutely fantastic. This was done by Monolith Studios and was published again by WB Games. If you guys have played any of the games in the Batman Arkham series or anything like that, you will know that there's a lot of combat similarities and gameplay similarities and stuff that from that series that you will see in this one. So if you guys are big fans inside that of the Arkham series or any of the games like that, this is another one that I do recommend for you guys. I promise you, this is another game that I gave a perfect 10 out of 10. I could not find anything wrong with it. Now, I know that some people who are going to watch this video are going to be like, well, what about the, you know, the microtransactions and all of that? Well, from what I've heard, guys, the microtransactions in this game are actually going to be stopped soon. Which I think was really the only complaint that some people had about it. So I mean, you can take that inside that how you leave it. I've never really had a problem with them, but I don't really put money in this game because I don't feel like you have to. But you know, it's kind of up to you. But again, guys, this game was I almost wish this game had gotten Game of the Year, but it didn't, which is okay because again, it's really solid. And it's actually not full priced anymore. So again, for day one pickup, it's definitely one instead that I recommend. And that pretty much about wraps up my buying guide. I'm hoping instead that I covered as much as I can. Now, obviously, I couldn't show you everything because I don't actually own all of the accessories. But before I end it, I guess some honorable mentions and stuff like that I could recommend to you guys. If you guys don't already have one, which obviously if you guys are watching this, you probably don't because this is more of a day one pickup guide. You could also pick up a PlayStation Vita as well. Now, the Vita inside that is the PlayStation handheld predecessor to the PSP. But and I know you guys are probably thinking, well, that's a console. Well, the reason why I recommend it as part of an accessory is because of the fact that it does have a lot of compatibility with the PS4. Most notably, it's SharePlay. That's right, guys. A lot of games inside that actually do have SharePlay compatibility, where you can actually take the gameplay from the screen and put it onto your Vita, so that way you can play it like in a more, I guess, comfortable setting. Like if you're done with the PS4 and say you want to go to bed, but you want to keep on playing like an RPG such as one of the Tales games or Persona 5 or something along those lines, you can actually take it, SharePlay it to your Vita, and play it on your bed or play it in your chair or something like that. And I think that that's a really, really cool feature for it. Obviously, you can also use the Vita for like file transfer and things like that, similar to the way the PSP was. But the best and most notable feature of the Vita, I would say, is definitely its share play. Now, the Vita is definitely not a console that you can find in stores anymore. You can find them at GameStop pre-owned, although in all reality, I don't think that they're extremely expensive that you would have to do that. But again, if you are on a budget, then you might want to look into trying to, get them from GameStop. But, that's, of course, completely up to you. I bought mine brand new. I did buy it and sell it off of somebody who hadn't opened theirs yet. So I got really lucky with mine, and I did get mine at a pretty much a steal of a price. They're actually not as expensive as people think, and usually you can find people selling them and sell that for a pretty good price. But I think that's about it, though. That was just an honorable mention sort of accessory that I would recommend to you guys. So that's pretty much, we've gone over pretty much everything, the main console, the accessories, and a bunch of games. Like I said, guys, there were a lot of games and a few other accessories that I could have included on this list, but I did try to include the most important ones for day one pickup. Obviously, if you guys instead that are, if you guys have had your PS4 for a while and stuff like that, and maybe there were some things on here that you didn't hear or that you did hear, I'm hoping instead that the video did bring something new for you guys. And for those of you guys who do own a PS4 but maybe don't own any of these games or don't own most of these games, again, guys, these were just some of my favorite games on the PS4. Again, I have an entire library full of them, but it would take me forever to be able to literally tell you guys all of them. So I'm hoping that you guys really did enjoy this video. I had a lot of fun making this. I thought that I was really excited to do a PS4 buying guide because it is my favorite console of this generation. Yes, I love the Switch. Obviously, I'm not big on Xbox because I don't have an Xbox One yet, even though I am planning on getting one, guys. So eventually, once I have gotten one and I've done, a little bit of gameplay and a little bit of buying for it, I will do my own personal review on that. So for you Xbox fans out there, don't worry, I'm not completely against you. I'm just more of a Sony player. It's nothing personal. It's just preference. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you did like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you do want to keep up to date with all of my current content and my future content, or if you guys want to watch any of my previous videos, do make sure that you hit subscribe. I will leave a link to my PS4 unboxing videos down in the description below. Also my PS4 Persona 4 unboxing video, and I actually will probably leave a video instead to my ultimate game room setup down in the description below too, so that way you guys have an idea on some of the things that I've got for the PS4 and for other consoles. This is not going to be my only buying guide, guys. I am going to be doing other buying guides inside that in the future for a lot of the other systems inside that I currently own, so do make sure that you stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, again, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys instead would like to send me anything that you guys would like me instead to do a product review or an unboxing for on this channel, I will leave instead a mailing address down in the description below. And as always, guys, keep it real and keep gaming. Oh, wait guys, there's one more thing. For all my anime enthusiasts out there, I have got a big and exciting announcement for you guys if you don't already know. High School DxD Season 4 is going to be airing on April 10th. That's right, guys, we're literally one day away from it. The first episode of the 4th season of High School DxD is going to be airing on April 10th. So make sure that you guys stay tuned for that. I know that's not gaming related, but as you guys know, I'm also an otaku and I love just geeking out on this sort of stuff. I've been waiting for the series for a long time. It is finally coming back to us, guys. So make sure that you guys stay tuned for it because it is going to be great. And I'm hoping you guys are excited for it as I am. So again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it real. And most of all, keep gaming. Bye-bye.